Hey guys, we're up with another DLC 2 Crown Tundra analysis video. Today we're discussing everyone's favorite Stark Mountain resident from Generation 4, Heatran. And Heatran is a very important Pokemon in the metagame. It's largely been considered one of the saviors of SMOU and one of the best glue Pokemon in the history of overuse. Why is that? It checks all of the most convenient Pokemon. So not only are we going to be discussing Heatran stats and what it checks and counters, but also what checks and counters it rather. We're going to be discussing what it checks and counters. So there are going to be some really important Pokemon that Heatran can just absolutely give the middle finger to, and that is of the utmost importance right now in what's going to be an absolutely hectic metagame moving forward. So first and foremost, of course, as always, guys, if you guys could check out the channel, hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoy the content. Also, if you want to see my new Twitter, definitely hit me up with a follow. I'm going to update you guys on the channel and plenty of other Pokemon stuff as well there. And if you want to join the Discord server, feel free to as well. We got a popping community there, but we're going to get into the Heatran stats now before I, self-plug myself away all the way to hell. So yeah, first and foremost, we have Heatran, of course, as Pokemon of focus here, but there are a ton of sets it could do. For example, there are the Magma Storm Trapper sets that were ever so common last generation. It's a classic special defensive set. Maybe even Scarf with Eruption could see some usage in hell. Why not classic Torment Tran? So there are a ton of options there. Heatran in itself is a surprisingly versatile Pokemon. It's underrated in what it can do, and it absolutely can pull off a number of very viable sets, so we're going to go through all of them. First and foremost is the classic special defensive set with things like Tapu Lele roaming free to start off the metagame, as well as the Lati duo. This might be pretty common in the early days. You can definitely see a Magma Storm special defensive set as well, which we'll actually get into in a moment, but regardless of that, I personally believe that that Heatran with Lava Plume plus Toxic is going to be pretty threatening. Only things that really can tank both with Gliscor not being metagame are Magic Guard users like Clefable and Reuniclus, coupled with opposing Heatran as well. But you saw able to set up Stealth Rocks, you could run Taunt Last, you could run Magma Storm over Lava Plume, etc. This tends to run special defense. It takes things like Lele, like Latios, Tornadus lacking knockoff. You can do really against Nasty Plot, Tornadus lacking Focus Blast, for example. It could be a nice switch into choice grass types like Rillaboom, Kartana, Tapu Bulu, which can go such a long way in this metagame as well. And yeah, it could also potentially be a check to things like Dragalge, depending on what coverage moves it uses, which might very well be free, Genesect, and the list goes on. It could even scout out Choice Faramosa. There's a lot of things Heatran can do, and I think it's going to have an absolutely magnificent place in this current metagame. However, this is far from the only set it can use. In fact, it might not even be the most common set, as Magma Storm sets roamed free last generation and absolutely wrecked the metagame, trapping things like Toxapex, Clefable, and the likes. Personally, I think Taunt plus Protect offers a ton of utility, but if you want to go ahead and slap Stealth Rock onto it, you can feel free to do that. You could then run Taunt over Protect, or just keep with Protect slot. Personally, I like running this set the most. Stealth Rock, Magma Storm, Earth Power, Taunt. It lets you get Stealth Rocks up, and also you could taunt things, and like you said, Chansey, Blissey, Toxapex after you Magma Storm them, and eventually just whittle them down between Magma Storm and Earth Power, and you just slowly take them out 1v1. And that's really the bread and butter of Heatran. It does so nicely in that job, and I feel as if it offers a ton of defensive utility in that. I mean, if you want to go through the metagame, there are a ton of Pokemon it can trap. I know we're looking at AG, OU, National OU, but I mean, Cinderace lacking High Jump Kick, it's going to absolutely demolish. Blacephalon, it could 1v1. It's going to be able to, demolish Ferrothorn. Kartana Stabs, it should be able to take. Gearnet's going to be a great answer to. Melmetal, it's going to be able to take Stab move from, which is going to be double Iron Bash, which is great. It could legitimately trap Toxapex. Tangrowth lacking Earthquake, Bulu's Stab moves it can switch into. Aegislash is going to be great against. Again, Lati's lacking Earthquake. Even it could take a couple Oysters probably as well, or at least one and pivot in, Scout for Stab move. Celesteela lacking Earthquake. Yeah, the list goes on. I mean, it's going to be able to trap Blissey, Chansey, Weezing Gallards can sit all over, honestly. Jirachi demolishes, which Jirachi's going to get better because Tapu Lele and Lati's coming back. That's huge. Mew, same for that. Mew always finds a way to, check something new in the metagame. And it's just amazing what it can do. Tapu Lele, again, and Scizor. Surfear's not coming back, what the hell am I saying? But yeah, you get the damn point, guys. It's going to be a really freaking good Pokemon, and it offers a ton offensively with the Magma Storm trapping, and not to mention it has a pretty damn high special attack set if you haven't noticed of 130, so even just naturally right off the bat it hitting hard, but also Magma Storm utility, Earth Power coverage for opposing Heatran, Fire types like Blacephalon. It's also Volcarona counter, even with any of these sets basically, because Volcarona can't beat it unless it's his Psychic plus Roost and it's not Toxic or Taunt Tran. But there's a ton of utility it offers. It's even not the most slow things. You'll outrun Pokemon like Aegislash with just little speed, or you can run max speed, and you'd also get things like slower Lando T's and most Rotoms, and there's a lot of things. It's overall, Heatran just offers so much in so many different ways. It's a splashable Pokemon in a sense you can fit on a lot of teams. It's a versatile Pokemon in a sense you can kind of pick and choose what it's meant to, abuse. You run especially defensive sets, be it Fallout Wall. You can run Tom Magma Storm set to trap things. You can run Toxic to cripple things with Magma Storm. You can run Protect for longevity with leftovers. You can even run Choice Scarf with Eruption just to completely blast the crap out of everything. And this is more of a gimmicky set. This is more of a fun set, but I definitely think there's some potential here. Maybe even run it on specs with Trick Room and minus. I actually think, you know what? I think it might be Nature Lock with Eruption. I don't know if that's still a thing this generation or not, but if it is, and make it specs, run like Trick Room teams as a minus speed, it's like Quiet Nature, I think, or something like crap like that. That'd be kind of cool too. But yeah, there's definitely some niche in Eruption. I want to see that. I'm gonna make a live with that eventually. And then there's also classic good old Torment Tran, which is just the most annoying thing to kill. And I don't think it's gonna be mainstream. I don't think it's gonna be really common, but it's cool seeing Torment being used in the competitive arena. Basically, you can't use the same move twice in a row, and with Protect, it basically means you can't use the same moves. So let's say you sub up on turn 1, and they go to their Guard Chomp, and they click Earthquake, you click Torment, then you could sub up, and then you could Protect this Earthquake the next turn, and then all of a sudden you're walling this Guard Chomp, and it's a Guard Chomp against Heatran, so it should counter you. Same goes for Zygarde. If it's 1,000 hours at you, yeah, why the hell not? I think that's really cool, and I'm definitely excited to see different Trans be working in this metagame, be it Torment Tran, or be it the Utility Tran, especially defensive, or Magma Trap, or even some Eruption gimmick as well. But on top of that, there are also some very different exploits of Heatran that we can discuss as well. For example, Power Air plus Solar Beam could be great for luring specific things like Gastrodon, Quagsire, potentially even others as well. Roar could be used in utility sets over Taunt or Toxic or Protect or whatever it might be to phase things out, like Volcarona. Scorching Sands can be used over Earth Power to force a burn. The power difference is pretty huge. You're missing out a lot of kills, but it does give you a chance to fish for a burn with another move against like a Tyranitar or a Garchomp or a Zygarde trying to switch in, so that's helpful. And if you want to get the more direct path to burn something, then just run Will-O-Wisp over, Toxic. It's going to be worse against Volcarona with Roost then, but you're still going to do the job just fine overall in checking most things. So yeah, I think overall Heatran offers a ton of utility to the metagame. And to just top off that utility, there are also some Pokemon that it's going to be able to check and counter that are pretty damn common. For example, Clefable with Magma Storm plus Taunt, or even Lava Plume plus Taunt, is going to absolutely 1v1 the crap out of it. It's going to trap it with Magma Storm potentially. It's going to be able to taunt it. It's going to live forever. It's not knockoff. And that's just a really great aspect of Heatran in the metagame right now. So yeah, being able to shut down Clefable is huge. It also is an answer to Volcarona. Psychic's really all Volcarona can do to it right now. And that's not going to do enough with Toxic being there, Taunt potentially being there, then negate recovery. Magma Storm being strong attack, and if you switch to a fire move, forget about it. Yeah, it just goes on. The point being that Volcarona is going to get a lot worse with Heatran in the metagame, thankfully. So you don't have to deal with that cheese as often. Next up, there's also Toxapex. You can trap it with the Magma Storm set. You got to be careful taking Scalds and Knocks repeatedly, but still, if you could find a way to get in safely and force that 1v1 with Magma Storm, then Magma Storm with Earth Powers with Taunt, it can do the trick, because Skull's going to barely even 3 or 4 KO you, if anything. So yeah, I think that goes without saying that that Tran, being there to shut down things like Pex and Clef is huge in the metagame. It's also to be able to thwart Magearna, set up sweeping, or potentially it's Choice Specs attacks. Also, it's still going to be doing 25-30%, especially defensive, even more to more offensive sets. So you got to watch out for that. But if you pair it with the ground type, it makes a really nice core. Also considered, so I love that. And last but certainly not least, we have Genesect. I'm not going to discuss Lele quite yet. I'm going to get to that in a second. But Genesect, you quite literally wall anything it has. Even if it runs like the Water Drive with Technoblast, you can tank one of those and just demolish it back. But anything besides that, it just completely counters the crap out of it. Even like Specs Boosted Thunderbolt, you'll live 2 of. It's really amazing how much you can invalidate Genesect. That's really the only thing that's kept Genesect in the tier as long as it has been the last couple generations as is. But now we'll have to see if it works again or not. Yeah, and anyway, Tapu Lele, so you can't take Boosted Focus Blast very well, obviously, and Expanding Force is still really strong in Psychic Drain, but, you resist both stabs, and you can live 2 Expanding Force probably, and I guess that counts as a check, but does anything really check Tapu Lele this generation with Expanding Force? I don't think so. I don't know, but it's like a soft check, I guess is how you put it. So, yeah, we'll go with that. It's a soft check to Tapu Lele. But unfortunately for Heatran, there are some Pokemon that are able to take advantage of it. Pokemon can check it, counter it, or go above and beyond. For example, Latios, it doesn't take much defensively from it. Yeah, it's not going to want to switch in Magma repeatedly, and if you're running a Roost set, it's probably going to be better off against Tran, but you can be able to hit it with Aura Spear or Surf, and that's cool. That coupled with the fact that it's able to tank the Magma Storm, tank the Lava Plume, tank the Earth Power with Scorching Sand without really carrying, it goes a long enough way to where I'd say Latios and Latias with a Surf or an Aura Sphere or even an Earthquake are going to be enough to, at least soft check Tran. But then there's even more. Garchomp and Zygarde do really well against it. Earthquake and Thousand Arrows, respectively, are going to absolutely decimate Heatran. And of course, they'll be able to take Magma Storm. Lava Plume will have to watch out for Burn and Earth Power. So yeah, maybe they eat a Burn. I personally think Lumberry Chomp's going to be actually pretty good for that reason and a couple other reasons. But regardless of that, also it helps with like Toxic Rotom Heat. But yeah, it's neither here and Toxic Spec switching. Okay, I'm not going to have a video on Lumberry Garchomp here. I promise. No. But that aside, I do think that Heatran will be able to be exploited. So yeah, no, these Pokemon do well against it. Same goes for Como. Body Press or Earthquake can be able to deal with it, and it's going to be able to easily eat the moves that Heatran has to throw at it. Finny is cool, gets a little extra bonus because it is Misty Surge, which sets up Misty Terrain, which means you can't get statused, and then also Gastrodon, which won't love eating a Toxic, but it can Earth Power to absolutely demolish Tran and at least 2 KO it, if not 1 shot, depending on the EV spread Heatran has. But yeah, no, so there are definitely some checks and counters to Heatran in the current metagame that I think will keep it pretty balanced. Overall, though, I think Heatran's going to be great. It's going to be one of those metagame-defining Pokemon. I mean, Heatran, in a way, to OU, is one of the most timeless presences. In Generation 4, when it came out, it was one of the top dogs. And it did fall down a bit in Gen 5 due to things like Hidden Power Grand Volcarona, Superpower Scizor, Focus Blast Tornadus, all these things, coupled with the fact that Rain was super prominent. So Pokemon that kind of adapted around it, but still, it was a Pokemon that saw usage, and it was pretty solid in Generation 5. Then in Generation 6, it saw even a little bit more usage in Generation 5. Utility sets as well, even running some offensive Trapper sets that actually picked up in popularity once Generation 7 came around, which is honestly where Trent peaked between getting Z moves and coupled with the fact that it was just a great, especially defensive behemoth. It had the trapping sets with Back Wisdom we alluded to that kind of trickled down to Generation 6, honestly, which is pretty funny. I love seeing those kind of intergenerational trends. So also really curious to see what Generation 8 trends can maybe affect Generation 7 with DLC 2 dropping. That would be pretty cool. Seeing that kind of shift from one metagame down to the other, but regardless of that, Heatran is here. It's here to stay. It's absolutely going to be an OU for most, if not all, of this generation, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be checking the Pokemon that we just mentioned before. I mean, being able to beat Clefable, Volcarona, Toxapex, Magearna, those big 4 right there, that's like the Pokemon. These are the 4 Pokemon that have haunted the metagame for the longest. Like crap. Like if you guys watch Plunder and the Agency, these Pokemon are the exact opposite of Agency. These Pokemon are not it. I mean, we got Clefable, the most annoying defensive player. We got Volcarona, the cheese ball. We got Pex. Oh, get the hell out of here, Pex. We got Magearna, which had to be banned. It was so ridiculous. Like crap. Being able to check all these Pokemon, the Holy Quadrant, the trifecta, if you count just Diversity, because Magearna's banned right now, but it'll probably return to OU. Then like shit, like that's great for the metagame, and I'm really excited to see Heatran return. I feel like it's just what OU asked for, it's just what OU needed, and I'm really happy to have it back. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and have a great day. All right, guys, peace out, bye.